Good afternoon, viewers. My name is Kent Fuentes, and we're here at the Piaco International Airport, where we are awaiting the arrival of this country's World Championship track and field team. Among those expected on the flight is Jerome Richards, who won bronze in the men's 200 and was part of the victorious 4x4 team on the last day of competition.
Very quickly, welcome to everyone. I would like to recognize the Minister of Sports, the Honorable Darrell Smith, the Chairman of the Sports Company, Mr. Dinanath Ramnarayan, the President of the TTOC, Mr. Brian Lewis, the President of the N3s, Mr. Surratt, Mr. Crawford, if he's in the room, athletes, coaches, members of the media, family members, welcome again. First, I would like to invite to tell us about the experience in London at the World Championships, the manager of Team TTO, Mr. Dexter Voisin.
Thank you, Natasha. Please excuse my voice. I'm a bit hoarse. Honorable Minister of Sport, Mr. Darrell Smith, President of the TTOC, Mr. Brian Lewis, Chairman of the Sport Company, Mr. Ramnarayan. I think I recognize other persons from the Sport Company, representatives of NGC, Mr. Patrice Charles, I'm seen in the background, the Director of Sport in the Ministry, President of the N3s, Mr. Surratt, anybody else of importance I'm missing out, and everybody, everybody else, right? Media, and of course the Team TTO from the just concluded World Championships. I think opportunities like these, especially some media houses, they await for you to speak about the ills. But I'm sorry to disappoint you all this afternoon. I'll just speak about the positive things. But hopefully, some point in time, we could have an indoor meeting and discuss all our challenges. Certainly, the World Championships 2017, we would have gotten a lot of support from, first of all, the local trainees who reside in London. They were very instrumental in setting up our training camp. We got assistance from the High Commission of London, where they also provided us certain ground transport. I can tell you, for example, one of our athletes, Parker McKnight, she spent almost a week and a half by one of the locals in London who took care of her until we arrived. So we had some great support from the local trainees in London. So I think we can give them a round of applause, even though they are far away. Yeah. The 2012, London was very good to us at the Olympics, where we produced our best performance thus far in the Olympics. 2013, we had a World Championships gold medal by J.U. Gordon, and here we are today, 2017, where we were able to produce a gold medal and a bronze medal, 4x4 men and individual Jerome. Just to rest some people's hearts a little bit, I did went and review the photo finish with the 200-meter final, and it was very close. Yeah, it was very close. All right, it was very close. But again, people, just to touch on that a little bit, sometimes the photo, the images you see is not the images that the results is done from. So you will see overhead, you will see from behind the finish line and stuff, but really and truly, when Ms. Stout and Mr. Babalal, who are operators, they can tell you have to go on the computer itself to look at the image to really determine the closeness of an event. So yes, it was very close, right? But I did went and review the results. Trinidad and Tobago, we came together as a team in London. It was different from other major competitions that we attended, but all in all, when it matters the most, we came together as a team and we produced what Trinidad and Tobago was expecting of us in most instances. One of the proudest moments for me is standing at the medal ceremony, flying our flag and singing the national anthem. I have been at several championships, Olympics before, and to me, this time around, that was the most thrilling experience for me, to be singing our national anthem. And for the general public, those of you who are present today, I don't know how much of you all ever experienced that feeling, singing our national anthem on the world stage. Yeah, and it's a tremendous feeling, and I sure all of you all who were in Trinidad and Tobago, who witnessed that thrilling event on the last day, would have been very proud of our guys, right? I don't want to be too long. I know there are other people to come on the podium, but there are a group of members who makes up any component of a team, and they are called the technical team. When we leave here today, they're going to be forgotten once we leave this airport. So I just want to recognize the hard-working technical staff who people normally don't recognize, all right? And without these personnel, the athletes, they wouldn't be able to perform the manner in which they perform, right? So once again, thanks a lot, technical and supporting staff. Of course, Mr. Seret will give all the thanks to the other important organizations and personnel who would have made this trip possible. So once again, from the management of the team, congratulations to Trinidad and Tobago and to our World Championships 2017 team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Voisin. I guess Jeremy will tell us a little later on what he thought he placed, right, at that point in time. Now I'd like to welcome Ephraim Seret, the president of the N3As, to give us a grander overview of the championships and what it means for Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much, Natasha. I really like to do this, but there's a lot of people here, but Honorable Darrell Smith, Minister of Sport, Mr. Brian Lewis, President of the TTOC, Mr. Dinal Ramnaran, Chairman, Sport Company, Mr. Charles, Director of Sport, other executive board members of the N3As. Some people hiding, I'm not, or Mr. Kabir Hossain, the CAO of the N3As, media athletes, technical officials. It is indeed a pleasure to stand here today. And as Mr. Voisin indicated, we raised our voice very loud last night at the end of the championships, winning the 4x4 and singing the national anthem. I didn't recognize that we had so many flags in the stadium. And one thing about these championships or the competition, be it championships or Olympics, the Caribbean celebrate. So when Trinidad and Tobago win, the Caribbean wins. When Jamaica wins, we support. This championship, as Mr. Voisin indicated, it was one with a difference. And I want to take the opportunity to thank the Ministry of Sport, the Sport Company, NGC, our major corporate sponsor, who has signed on with us at a 3-year MOU, which we are ending this year, but we hope to continue for another 3 years. And I want to send this message out to corporate Trinidad and Tobago. The need to come on board to support sport, and not just sport, sport and culture. In light of all the crime that is happening in Trinidad and Tobago, I think sport and culture is an avenue that we need to support if we want to really tackle this crime situation. But I want to congratulate the manager, the technical officials, the athletes, all the support staff who, give human service for this team. And we look forward to preparing our long-term vision, which is looking at 2020, 2024. The 4x4 team, as a former athlete, I always tell people, you go to a competition for 10 days, but the event that remains in your mind is the last event. The last event, the 4x4 100 meters. And Trinidad and Tobago, to defeat the mighty US in a 4x4 relay, it is a great achievement. I think we need to applaud our guys for something like that. The time achieved, a world-leading time, a national record. In London, the performance is also a national record. And I want to assure my federation, I am sticking to my commitment. We have just done some constitutional reform, and we have term limits. And I am positive that at the end of 2020, I will be passing that baton. I'm very sure about that. As a former sprinter, at the end of 2020, it will be 14 years. So it means I'm close to 1,500 meters. I've gone more than my distance. But we are preparing for that and having that succession planning for the continued deliverance of medals, you know. So the 4x4 team and Mr. Richards, I must say I'm very proud of you. Being around you as a manager and president of the junior teams and making this transition at 23 years old to medal at the world stage and be part of the relay team, I think it augurs well for our young athletes so that they can understand that they too can do this. So again, thank you all very much, and we look forward to working with all to make Trinidad and Tobago proud. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And before I go on, allow me to recognize the other athletes who have returned home this afternoon. Ruben Walters, 110-meter hurdles. Mariba Marine, 4x1. Kamaria Durant, 4x1. Daniel Telesford, 4x1. Joshua St. Clair, 4x4. We could give them a round of applause. Yes, these athletes deserve recognition. So, with that lusty applause, the president of the TTOC, Mr. Brian Lewis, if you could say a few words, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs, Mr. Darrell Smith, the chairman of the sport company, Mr. Dinanath Ramnarine. Cricket, he's in a new world here. Mr. Ephraim Serret, the president of the IAAF, and the Honorable Minister of National Security, Mr. Dillon. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. The acting director of sport, Mr. Patrice Charles, other members of the sport company board. You'll have to bear with me, right? So you know it have a lot of movements going on. Entry executive, the athletes, media, and I'd like to take the opportunity to address and say a few words to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, I promised myself for some reason, and most of you have seen me talk on previous occasions, that I would not get emotional. And there's a reason why I have to fight to get emotion, and it's because I know of the enormous sacrifices and challenges and adversity that our athletes would have endured this year. But in saying that, I want to say that it is no different from what our country has gone through in this difficult economic times, and therefore we have to keep it in context. I also want to acknowledge the effort of every single athlete who had the pride, honor, and glory of representing Trinidad and Tobago in London 2012. Every single one without any exception. John F. Kennedy said in that famous quote, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." And what we saw on display with every single athlete was patriotism at work. What we certainly saw in the 200 meters was heart, guts, and courage at work. And what we saw in the 4x400 meters was courage, an indomitable will to succeed, and a determination to bring home not just any medal, but a gold medal for Trinidad and Tobago. We undervalue and underappreciate how much effort it takes to stand at the top of that podium. Let me just say this. I've lived through many a celebration and many a gathering in this same VIP lounge over the years. I want to urge us all not to over-celebrate, because one thing we learn in sport, the next event, the next innings begins at zero. Our athletes will celebrate and enjoy it, but they have to remember, as Rudyard Kipling said in his poem If, you have to treat triumph and disaster, which are both imposters, the same way. 1 year ago, don't let that come out of your memory. Let it serve as inspiration. But remember, as a people, Trinidad and Tobago makes huge demands and expectations. Just as they will celebrate, they will express their disappointment. Jereme Richards, your life and that of your family and that of your colleagues will have changed more than you can imagine. I will urge you to have a word with those who have gone before you and who have been celebrated and who have achieved the highest honor in sport. And one thing I will give you, advice I'll give you, is remain humble as you are. As you know, we have had many conversations, and it is indeed a pleasure and an honor for me to stand here and recognize you and your teammates, and above all, the most important person in your life, your mother and your family. Having come from a single-parent home myself, whose mother is my hero, I can imagine the depth of your emotion. I would just like to say to Mother, you now have to recognize that you will share your son with the rest of Trinidad and Tobago. And there are many people like myself lining up to eat your oil down. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to, on behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee, congratulate the NAAAs, the coaches, the teams, the medal winners. Welcome home and congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. I'll take this opportunity now to share with you some of the technical staff that was mentioned earlier. We need to know their names and remember their names, as Mr. Voisin said. So Mr. Voisin, manager, Ian Carter, Ganesh Prasad, Ken Barton, Charles Joseph, Anthony Walcott, Shirlon Bonas, Nicole Fuentes, Aquila Gomez, our very own from Sports Company, Anil Gopi Singh, Ismail Lopez Mastrapa, also from Sportity. Thank you very much for your service. And now I would invite the Honorable Darrell Smith, Minister of Sport, to talk about how he was carrying on last night. How you were carrying on last night?
Thank you, everyone. Mr. Sarat, Mr. Voisin, and the rest of the team at Entries, Chairman of the Sport Company, Mr. Ramnarain, President of the TTOC, Mr. Brian Lewis, the athletes, the people of the movement, including the Dream himself, Mr. Richards, and his family, my fellow colleague in the cabinet, Member of Parliament, Point 42, is very proud. The Minister of National Security, Mr. Edmund Dillon, welcome. I know a number of the other MPs and some of the Point 40 borough members were on the way, but they had some traffic. The other directors from the sport company, Ministerial sport officials, the media, family members. Thank you for being here this evening to celebrate with our athletes. Welcome back home, athletes. You know, I got the most calls. I mean, as Minister of Sport, we get a number of calls from people, but the picture with Jereme and the third place finish, I've never seen so much bush lawyers in my life, and advice and what we should do, and call Olympics and call this one and resurrect Johnny Cochran and all kind of thing we get. But it was very symbolic to me. It was very, very symbolic to me what that represented. I'm no expert. I always say leave the stars to the astronomers, and I'm sure, as you would have heard the president of TTOC and Mr. Serret say, that they have their systems, and I'm sure we'll get a proper explanation of which picture they looked at and stuff and so on. But it was so close. I mean, I actually thought he won the 200 at one angle, he thought, but it was so close. 1,000 seconds, point something off. And even the ladies in the other races and stuff that may have in the finals would have come fifth and so on in the other races, even in the javelin and so on. It's just small distances that separate glory and a champion and what could possibly change a life. I know you ask yourself the question, what makes that eyebrow of an ant difference for somebody to get that success? Was it the breakfast they had? Was it the day they had? Was it the breeze? Was it their prayers? Was it their parents being there? The last thing they saw, what they thought of? What makes that difference? And only the athlete themselves could tell us that to make that difference. And that's what makes track and field so unique. I mean, football is a team sport there. I mean, relay to extent is a team sport as well. But it's one-on-one, you against the world. And those split seconds make the difference. And the analogy that I want to bring with that is, you all would have recalled the Olympics last year. How some of the few, I would say a few people in the population, how they reacted to the performance of our athletes. Some of them, the same of them, some of them now are jumping up singing joy and praises. But I'm not here to bash anybody or to make any difference, but it's the fact that in these races and these events are such a small difference in it. We have to look at the differences, both good and bad, because you can look at the 200 meter in both ways, from the third place perspective or the first place perspective. But my point I'm trying to bring is, the last time we were at this event in Beijing, we made 4 finals. Right? People may take us making 5 finals this round as a small improvement. But as I told you all just now, with those so close in terms of making decisions, it's a big step, it's a big jump. The fact of the matter that we have only won 2 gold medals ever in the history of our country in this meet, for us to win a bronze and also in the 4x400 as well, winning a gold, is a big leap, especially spoiling the party of the United States with the lucky 7 that we were hoping for. I mean, last 2 years in Beijing, we came second to the same US. That's a big leap to drop from silver to gold. So I say that in the context with regards to us being patient, for Trinidad and Tobago supporting, for us understanding, because we will never be able to go in the shoes of Mr. Richards or the other guys who ran. We could only live through them. And I'm sure when he comes up to speak, he'll explain probably some of the things that I asked, what they go through their mind in that split second or point second off of coming third or second or wherever it may be. But Trinidad and Tobago, as you would have heard the other speakers say, we need these kind of positivity in the country, especially among our young people. The Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs is difficult times. I still want to thank the number of corporate citizens that have still come on board to support not just track and field, but sport overall. We still see the usual suspects and others coming on board. So while we want to beg them to come on, we must thank those who still, in these difficult times, have come on board. It's not just in Trinidad and Tobago, it's worldwide. When you listen to some of the other interviews with other islands and athletes, they're going through difficulties as well. I know for a fact with the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs and the sport company this year, track and field has been the second most funding that we have assisted. We're trying our best in these difficult times to ensure that we can work on. We have other ways that we've been working with entries with regards to our sports company, the technical team with regards to the sports science, assisting them with training and the injuries and so on that you don't really hear about. But we will continue to build a good relationship with you all, the entries with the athletes. And as you know, the Cabinet and the Prime Minister in particular is a huge fan of track and field and sport, and he understands the importance of it, how we could assist our country, especially with our young people. And again, we're here to ensure that we support you all as much as possible. So again, congratulations to the team. As I said, it's 5 finals we've made, bronze medal and a gold medal. It's the best we've ever done in the games in one particular game. And again, we want to congratulate the guys. I know everybody wanted to see the other members of the team, but I think they had other engagements to go. So again, this is not the end. We have to continue working towards the Olympics, to the next World Games, and we're here to support and work with you all. So again, Mom, I don't know people, and I always say it in most of my speeches where we have to thank the parents, and I didn't know you were a single parent, so that is a double whammy. Thank you. We know the sacrifices that you have made. To the trainers, to the coaches, the technical staff, all those who give their time, those who volunteer, thank you very much. And Trinidad and Tobago could only work together as a team. If you start to bash and compare and make statements that only in this climate that we're in right now, we really need some positivity and love, working together as a team. So God bless you all, congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Before I invite the man of the moment / week / month / year, I recall in 2012 hosting a function very much like this when Jareem returned with a bronze medal from the World Indoor Championships in the 4x4. A lot of the commentary that I heard during the championships, people like they didn't realize that he used to run 400 or could run a 400 meters. So I think this is obviously a step in the right direction, a huge advancement, and we're very proud to see how you've grown as an athlete and as a man. So before I bring you to speak, though, we do have something to present to you, which you will in turn present to your mom, right? Yeah, come. And he did say that the gold medal was an early independence gift. Yeah, mom's going received flowers from your boy. She don't want to be in the picture. So on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago, thank you for this early independence gift, Jareem. We appreciate it. Thanks, Mom. Oh. Yes. All yours.
Good afternoon to everyone that came out today. I just want to say that, I'm really thankful for the support of Trinidad and Tobago. I would like to also thank, excuse me if I get the name wrong, Miss Sophia, Senator Sophia Choate, sorry. Coming back on the plane, I got a really bad seat, and she offered up her first class seat to me, which I am very thankful for because after coming from World Championships, to sit down on a plane cramping up, you wouldn't like to do that for 7 hours. So I'm very, very thankful to Senator Sophia. My World Championships experience, I would say, it was a great one. I've been having a really good year. God has really blessed me this year. I would say my own prayers, my family prayers, and I would say it have been answered because I worked so hard last year after the Olympics, and to just achieve so much this year, it's overwhelming. But at the same time, to know that you prayed for something and it actually came true, you know that God is real and He works in mysterious ways. I would like to thank the medical staff, the team staff, the coaches, everyone, because they helped us stay focused, they motivated us, and they're the guys behind the scenes that actually help us out when you get little pains or you need a little rub out or a stretch, and they help us out a lot. Even when the weather cold, it was cold in London, and started to get snuffy. You had the doctors there to take care of you, Dr. Gopi Singh and everyone else, All year, this year in track and field, I was thinking about my mother because I know I have a single mom, as you all may know, well, you know now, and I know it's hard, me being in college and having my good apartment there, and just knowing sometimes the struggles my mom have to go through and the struggles she went through for me to go to practice when I was in Trinidad and just to do everything. This year, even before I left, I told my mother that I wanted to dedicate this year to her in track and field and bring back this medal for her, and I'm just thankful to God that I could actually do that. I know how hard she works for me. She really works hard. She's my #1 supporter. She even watches all my races a million times, and sometimes my sister gets mad because she always watching the races over and over again. And I don't know, I really, 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 really love you. I love my family, and the undying support that I have from them is unreal. Just to see, I was reading the articles and I saw on TV that they were watching the races, and I honestly cried watching it because reading the articles, I saw my mom said, "Run, baby, run," and I could just picture my mother saying that, and it literally bring tears to my eyes because I know how emotional she could get, and she calls me her baby, and I really am her baby because I'm her last child, you know. So I just want to say, just thank you, Trinidad and Tobago, thank you for my family, thank you for my friends, and thank you for the undying support of everyone. And you know what? I hope that you all keep supporting track and field. It's a really good sport. We have a lot of good athletes coming up here, and we really need and deserve the support of Trinidad and Tobago, not just when we get to major championships, but in the stadium for senior champs with track meets. Come out and support and show the athletes that, you know what, we have your back, you know, because we have a football game, everyone gonna fill up the stadium. Come fill up the stadium too for track and field. Right. You know? So in closing, I'll just like to say once again, thank you. Thank you for everyone coming out here today, and thank you for the undying support of Trinidad and Tobago. And I mean, with God, anything is possible. I got 2 medals that I prayed for and still can't believe I have them, but you know, it's just a blessing from above. So just thank you. I mean, it's one of the best feelings ever, I would say, because all championships I've been thinking about my family, my friends, because they have supported me so well, and the undying support, just seeing them on TV for the 200 meters and the atmosphere that was around them. You know, I just wanted to be around my mom. I couldn't go back to school immediately. I had to come back home.
During this began all this year in school for you at Alabama. Tell us about your year this far from school to now to the start of your World Championship success.
From school, I would say I've been having a really good, successful year, and I've approached this year really differently, having my mom in mind. I've had a closer relationship with God this year, so that played a really big role in me performing good this year. And coming up to the championships, I was very relaxed going in there because mentally and physically I was intact, so I was ready. I was ready to perform and bring back medals to Trinidad and Tobago.
When you guys saw Lalon have the race in hand, what was going through your mind? Seeing him coming down to the finish line and finally crossing the line and Trinidad and Tobago getting gold? To honestly tell you how I felt, it would be hard because it was just mixed emotions. But going into the race, honestly, I knew that we had a good, strong chance of winning it. And the guy that finished with the US, honestly, he was my roommate when I went to junior college in the US. He was my roommate, and I know how he ran. So we kind of spoke about it, and we told Lalon how he ran and how he should run behind Fred. Fred Curley is his name. And he executed it the way he should, and to bring back a gold medal for Trinidad and Tobago, I mean, gold is the best thing you could do, you know. It's hard to describe how the feeling was in that time, but it was just magical, I would say. Last year at the Olympics, a late violation prevented you all from getting into the finals. You were at the Olympics last year, having to be being on the track itself. What does that mean for you?
It was a very big deal because I was disappointed not getting the chance to run at the Olympic Games, and to get to run at the World Championships. The Olympic Games was very instrumental in me performing this year. It made me really hungry, and it made me get more drive and just fueled me to the World Championships.
So speaking of that hunger, everybody know you're home with the medals. What is next for Jerry Richards?
Right now it's just to relax and soak in everything and prepare myself for the upcoming years. I set high goals for myself in terms of track and field. I want to honestly just get every prestigious medal there is in track and field, you know. So right now, but as of now, I'm just trying to, you know, remain focused, stay humble, and just keep doing what I'm doing because as of now it's working. So I'm just gonna stay focused and keep doing it.
Based on what is happening in the country, we're looking for a lot of positive young role models. What role do you see you guys playing for young people in Trinidad and Tobago and accomplishing their goals?
I think we play a great role of hope for the young athletes and everyone else coming up because I mean it goes to show that anyone could win gold, but you have to stay persistent. You have to be disciplined to do all these things. It doesn't just come overnight, you know. So it goes to show that hard work, prayers, and everything pays off at the end of the day. So I hope the younger athletes or just young people in general just look at us and try to emulate us in some way. It doesn't have to be just track and field, but in any area of life, I would say.